are back for set 2 of the OCL week 5, I think we're in. And we have lost Lath, seeing as he is going to be playing a game right now. And I'm joined here by Most.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm great. Now, I will start off by prefacing that at the start of this first game, there was a little. This is a pre-recorded spectator, so it's not straight from the Smite client itself, and there was a bit of an issue at the start. So for the first 3 minutes, there's a little bit of an overlay over the game itself, so that I think it blocks out a little bit of the builds and like the kill participation. But it only lasts for 3 minutes, so once we get past that 3 minutes, we will be good to go for the rest of the stream.
Yeah, and a big thanks to Redacted because this was on before the last hotfix, and we all know how finicky the replays can be. So he put in a little bit of extra time to just get it recorded so he can show it regardless once the new hotfix. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you to Redacted
so
for that
we
one.
will try to be getting done so we don't lose stuff to hot fixes and things. But on saying that, we will get straight over to these teams. First one up is the Knights. Everyone knows them. Nothing really changed. Uh, no roster drama compared to some other teams in the league at the moment.
You never
Roster
know.
staying. You never
Wade
know.
might be looking for that competitive advantage towards the end of the season, but
Yeah, you
we'll have
really
to wait
never
and
know.
see.
But at the moment, staying strong. A lot of good players on this team. Jed's been playing really well. Stoinis also been playing very well lately. And I believe facing the threats, they are tied for second at the moment. I think the winner of this goes outright second place. But
Yeah,
going over to the threats, it is a very, very big team. These guys
definitely.
only losing the. I think they've only lost the 2 games they lost to It's a Wonderful Day for Pi. I don't think they've dropped the game apart from that set. So, and these guys have been playing together for ages. Uh, Smelly Frenchman is on a little bit of a vacation. So I believe for the rest of the season, it will be Corbara in that solo lane. So,
It's not too
uh,
shabby of a pickup.
yeah, no, very that man can play any role in this game and be probably like top 2, top 3 in that role. So picking him up in solo, probably one of his better roles as well. Uh, Definitely will be putting in work.
Can you place set in every role, or maybe not support?
Honestly, that might be the god that's best at playing every role. Might be up there. But from that, we will get straight into these picks and bans, or attempt to. I'd like to see what goes on here. A lot of 50% bans. Holy.
Yeah. Do you think there'll be any specific target bans coming out from either team, or do you think it'll be pretty standard for the picks
I
and
would
bans?
like to see, as I am a fan of, don't let Shank get your mojo. Is
Hmm.
always a good plan to have going in the bans. Uh, I don't know if I don't know. It's pretty hard to target out. Uh, Tilly does play like not your does he does like your not average mid laner picks. He will pick the Baba Yaga if it's open. Chompy also will pick the Rama if it's open. But a lot of these guys don't normally play your like standard gods that you normally see around. Like they definitely have a god pool, but I think a lot of Shank bans a lot of teams like to do because he's just very good on all of the supports. You kind of got to take him off the strong ones.
I agree, and I think that Baba Yaga in the state that she's in at the moment is definitely worth looking at taking for yourself, or just taking off the hands of whoever you're playing against, because that prophetic cloak just makes her
Yeah,
such a nuisance to dive. It's almost
yeah.
impossible.
And if you do land it through, you gotta have a plan. As we do see Yamoja round 1.
They've been
Excellent. I
listening.
love to
They've been
see it.
listening to you.
I love to see it. And let that man get that god. Threats ban out the Kali. They have been liking to ban this Kali, especially threats like to look for the Baba Yaga, and Kali does do well in one of the few gods that does well into killing a Baba Yaga, as we see the Saket ban coming out as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much else that can really stick to a Bubba with such ease. So the Kali is a great band there.
And Terra coming out as well. Uh, Opting to just ban out these top supports, knowing that if we can get away from these OP supports, Shank should normally win in those like not meta supports. We see the Zong Kui as well. Baba
Mm.
Yaga's still open at this point. Knights do have the first pick though, maybe opting to look for that Baba Yaga. I wouldn't
It's
be
going to be
surprised if we
open.
see it.
The Yawn Band, so there is the Bubba on the table. Oh, they go for
They're
the
opting for
Marty.
Marty, as I would say threats will be going straight into Baba Yaga, and Rama also open, Hartiman open. Oh, there's the Rama. Yeah, Marty picked up first. Rama Baba Yaga pretty much going to be locked in here.
If
And
you're threats, you can't really be too much more happy with the top two there.
yeah, no, you're happy here. The banning coming out from both teams is kind of left open. I think the trade to be better for the threats because Knights get one, you get two OP picks. Oh, the Raven's still open though as well. Forgot
That's
about that one.
big.
So a lot of very strong picks open. And
Do you
arguably,
prefer the Raven in the jungle or solo?
I don't really pay much attention to those two because I don't really care about those two. But I think I like it better solo.
Yeah, it's
I think
pretty
it's
obnoxious.
Yeah, I think it's just obnoxious and is so annoying to deal with. Thought survivability does a lot of damage too. The shield is insane. Horus getting picked up. I'd love
It's
the
good.
Horus. I'm a fan of Horus. We're going into the second round of banning.
I think the Knights have a pretty solid top three though, and with the
Yeah,
Hachiman to round it out, that's quite nice.
I think both top threes are very good. Most of the time you don't see these gods like any teams getting these top three, and if you see one of these teams getting this top three, it's like something's gone wrong on the in the comp, but they both get an astounding top three. You see Geb coming out, probably just trying to take away the counter into the Horus, being able to shell. Nemesis coming out, trying to stop something that's going to be able to kill the Mataquarius easily.
What do you think the thought behind the Horus pick is?
I think it's just a pick god, very maneuverable too. You can get your team around. It's a really good chase god, but it's really just on the pick, like the protection debuff that you do when you use your two, the knockups. It's very obnoxious and very hard to kill. Double dash, able to heal as well. It's kind of insane at the moment, I think.
True, we
Westworld's
haven't seen
Thunder.
too much of it, but if Shanks got it, there must be something behind it.
Yeah, as we see the Thor coming out as well. Which I don't mind the Thor. Does well into Marty and Hartiman. See Erlong Shen getting picked up.
I'd say that's going to solo.
It could be going to solo. I haven't seen Erlang Shen played in the solo a lot recently.
He feels pretty strong with the devs and sorry, not the devs, the Death Soul. It feels pretty good.
I've seen a lot of Deathtoll do it in solo actually lately, and Kepri Cthulhu. Never too upset about those two last pick. Revive, don't have an execute yet. Could see an execute god coming out in maybe the AL Kwang with the comp they have at the moment, and the Cthulhu just giant disruption, especially into just a single ADC. It's a little bit slower shred. So Chemazots comes out, so it will be Erlong Shen solo.
And the Cthulhu is good as well. It enables the double ADC because you're getting a bit of magic damage from that. So yeah, it's pretty good drafts from both team. But which one
Yeah,
would you prefer to have?
I think I like the threats comp at the moment. A lot of lockdown, a lot of the Chemazots has a really good time killing Marty, kind of trading out ults, and with both ults down, Kema kind of just wins that fight. Kepri also kind of very pickable into the Horus Erlong. I can see this Kepri getting picked up a lot. And as we're getting into game, this is what I mentioned at the start. We will have this little bit of a overlay on, as we did have a little bit of a mix-up in the pre-recording, but this will only be happening for 3 minutes. So we are going in blind on the builds and the time at the moment, but it will be gone soon.
I'd rather this than no game at all, to be honest. So it's
Yeah.
not too big of a deal. Maybe you can predict the support builds.
Ooh, I can actually. I reckon Shanks. Oh, yeah, I reckon Shanks doing War Flag Thebes. I would like to see Compassion, I think, coming out from Jed with their. Oh, actually, War Flag in that as well. Double Hunt is also good. But I do like the War Flag because they does look like they. I do like the Compassion, sorry, in that comp as well, seeing as threats kind of look like they want to get in there. And if you can keep those hunters alive to dish out the damage, it also be very well. As it looks like they do have War Flag there, because I can see the buff.
There you go.
Jen has opted for War Flag.
I do love this mid 3v3 out of threats. There's going to be so much pressure, even just early kill pressure around the mids and stuff with the Horus 2. Be very
Yeah,
nice to see.
that mid 3v3 fight will be normally going in the way of threats, I think. And Stoinis has actually taken... I completely brushed over it. I just insta-locked Stoinis Raven into solo, but he is in the jungle.
Yeah, it still offers a good amount of damage. Like, I think we've been seeing more Raven in the solo lately, so I think some people might have forgotten about the amount of just like raw damage and annoyance that Raven can put out from the jungle. So I don't mind it, but I personally think it's better in solo myself. But you
Yeah,
like to see a magical solo if you got the double ADC. So yeah,
yeah, and Raven probably also does well into that like tanky kind of build in the jungle that we've been seeing. Don't know what we'll be seeing actually as Sun that comes out the prot. Probably is looking for pressure around the shield buff. We can't see the solo laner builds. Is that Manticore spikes? I've seen that picked up more early. Is that a thing?
well, yeah, you can. If you don't know what you want to build, you can just build into the earring, the T1, because it does have a decent amount of MP5 on it. So like, as a first item, you can even just leave it at that at the tier 1 and then go into your next item. But
And he was also able to pick up a chalice and a couple health pots as well.
yeah, so it's not a
Quite
bad
cheap.
start. It's pretty inexpensive. I think it probably will go into the spikes because the spikes are very nice at the moment.
Yeah,
But
would do well with Erling as well.
into this Cthulhu, he's going to be having quite a lot of pressure early just with his start. The conduit probably going into a Pythags as well. So Cthulhu at the very early point in the game with this type of build is kind of hard to deal with, especially from such a high pressure pick like Erlang.
Yeah, as mid, I think will probably should fall into Marty pressure. I would think. Baba Yaga also does have with double pots. Has a lot of pressure you can put out early. Mid camp's looking like it's gonna fall to Simply. Stoinis not opting to test these. Maybe he's looking for a steal. Doesn't get any, I don't think.
Yeah, I think both of the mid laners will take a little bit of time to warm up. Like, you never expect too much out of a Marty or a Bubba early, but I think as soon as we get 5, we'll definitely see something different happen.
And there we go. We are just about 3 minutes in, and the overlay is good, so we can see the builds now.
Did you predict the Benevolence?
I think I've predicted Wall Flag on Shank, but I also
You-
don't mind that. Compassion always also good. I think I'm just a Wall Flag stan, to be honest. Not many times I don't get it.
I think I've seen you build it almost every game so far
Yeah,
since it's been good.
very small times I build Compassion if we're getting Dove and we're going to be grouping, but any other time I'm normally getting Wall Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Even before I become a support, I love that item and I just wanted it to be good. Now it's good and I'm using it.
Yeah.
See some just little pokey mess arounds in solo. See it?
That's all it is. You can choose to do that or you can choose to just farm, but I feel like you get a bit bored. Ooh.
Ooh, good knock up.
Stonis will probably ult out here.
As the Mighty goes up. Bomb is up for the snipe.
We'll see the Rama, yeah.
Mine's a couple on the Marty. They're really falling from it though.
I think
Did
that's worth
get-
for threats because right mids are still up. They've forced out
Yeah.
the jungler, so
They do opting for the back though, not going for them. Maybe thinking they were already done.
the Baba probably just wants to get her stacking items online as soon as possible.
As
We
see
know
Jed-
that.
Sorry.
So we know how strong these items are at the moment. So even having them on a Baba is just like even more fun, I suppose.
Yeah. As we see, Jed lately has been liking staying around this dual side and kind of pressuring, kind of playing like a small way of how Shank likes to play the support, kind of staying around this left side of the map early at least, looking for mid camp fights, looking for shield fights. And I think if Shank's doing the same thing, I don't think it's really worth for Jed to be doing that kind of strategy this game. I think they just lose the 2v2 without a jungler at least.
Yeah, I probably think that's the way they would go. We've seen that Chompy go wild with these ADC builds, but it seems like he's going for a more conventional one this game.
Yeah, he did do a little bit of, which I actually am going to bring up. I thought that was a Chompy made build. I was sadly mistaken. He did not think of that one. That was a Zapman build, in
Well,
which I'm now no longer impressed by it because Zapman builds suck, but Chompy builds wins. So it now sucks because it was Zapman's build.
ooh, nice little gank
See
here.
a little gank. Just the ult coming out though. Is really going to come off of it. Get the ult. I dare say they're gonna look to pressure that again very soon while that ult's down. Could see Simply coming back.
Yeah, and it will now show the threats as well that there's no vision there from the Hachi. They get the free purple invade as well. So they can go straight back unless he picks up vision now, which he seems to not have.
As you see, like a 700 gold lead going in with threats, probably just from these mid camp shield buffs. Probably not getting, or maybe getting a lot of totems. I don't know how that solo lane's been going lately. I'm too sure about that side, but
We do see Cthulhu has got the most recent one.
yeah. How can you even tell that?
Look at the tower. The tower line is glowing on the blue side.
The thing?
Did you not know
Oh,
that?
no,
You know
I
how
had no
you
idea.
get the totem proc from walking into your tower?
Yeah, does that actually show on your
See how
tower?
it's glowing?
Oh, what do
Good,
you know?
good. And they're straight back to pressure on the weight. I like this.
Yeah, they're really just going to be forcing this out. Shank loves to do it, loves getting Chompy ahead. He also does it very well, in which he doesn't actually split a whole lot from Chompy. He kind of just sits around, gets shield buff XP, looks for purple buff XP, so he doesn't actually losing out on rotating. But
And I
not
know,
taking a lot from Chompy as well.
I'm sure you know this as well, probably from playing against Shank, that as an ADC player, it's very tilting having a
Yeah,
support just camping your lane. So it's got the
it's
mental diff as well.
it's very tilting, but at the same time, it's like every ADC forgets he does it every game.
Hmm.
And they still do the same thing and look for fights, and then they get punished by Shank. And it's quite insane though, how it keeps working.
Would it be worth freezing wave from Wade, or it's probably a bad call?
It would be good to if he could crash the wave like just before the tier 1 and then just freeze it there. It would be very good, like theoretically, to do that, to kind of hold. He kind of can just free farm there if he just freezes it. But at the same time, I don't think there's an ADC in this league that has the patience nor the care to actually freeze waves.
We see beads get by Shank in middle as well. He's having good map pressure all over from duo beads to mid beads now to blue. He's
Oh,
doing
very good
very
stun coming
well.
out from Stoinus. Gets the ult. As Simply's going for it as well. They're looking for the dive.
Don't think he has the damage for that. But that's
No, he
worth for
doesn't.
him. He grabs two
But
ults and they get the blue
yeah,
invade off.
I think a little bit of an early ult from Abs is probably making sure he could have baited a little bit, but just making sure that Stoinus doesn't fall there.
Chompy may get collapsed on here. He doesn't see the Capri rotation.
Horus is on his way though. He has already started up the ult. Or does elect to fall on the mid camp though, looking for this Marty. And Chompy is up in the air. Chompy might fall, but they do get first blood in mid. So worth for the threats.
I
They
kind of
want,
expected to see the Horus land on the Ram, but nice
yeah,
call.
I reckon Chompy probably got told that he was going. The Horus ult was coming to him, and then Shank had seen something different. So Chompy getting left by the wayside a little bit, but they do pick up first blood and do amass like a 2k lead off of it.
Now, if you're looking at the comps, do you think? Well, I'd think that the Baba Yaga late will just Baba Yaga with the Ram will just clap harder than what Crimson Knights have to offer. But do you think that it may go differently?
Yeah, I think scale wise, it's kind of similar in the carries. Like Marty will still be doing a lot of damage late. Just I think they threats have more answer to be able to get on top of the Marty and really stop him from doing damage. Whereas I don't really see someone that's going to be able to stop Baba Yaga from dishing out the damage he wants to. It'll be harder to really stick on her. So I think threats late will go better just off of that.
Yeah, I think their draft has more like transitional pressure as well with like picks such as like the Erlang and the Kama and the Horus. They can get their team through to late because they still have quite a lot of relevancy in early mid. So it's quite a nice draft. It should transition pretty well into late.
Dead looking for a little bit of anything off a Chompy here. Doesn't find it, just splits that wave. Well, Shank's rotating though. There's a little bit caught in between three people here. Stoinis is around, but should be able to just fly out to Chompy. The ult comes afterwards though, and doesn't find the route. And the Hachiman ult as well.
I don't know. I like that from Knights. I like that they're backing up each other on the call, even though if it might not be the correct one, you see them commit, and both their ADC and their jungle commit the ults at the, at an instant. So it's nice to see that they're on the same page.
Yeah, at least, yeah, gotta commit to the call. No matter how bad you might think it would be. It's how you really grow.
Hmm.
See, more Shank looking for his purple. I don't think a lot's gonna happen really until threats opt to go for the Gold Fury. I think this gets. Oh, I thought that was beads then. It was just a flip. Good pull by Jed, killing simply away, but Stoinis is falling low here. Rama ult's coming up as well. Kepri ult out. Does go straight back into the danger though, and simply doesn't opt to go back in. Marty's around as well. Good
Yeah.
pick up by Wade. Picking up, finding simply. Good rotation by Nuxel.
Yeah, we know as a Baba Yaga, you really just want to be farming until you've got all your stacking items online. So it's a nice little initiative there to just know that he can beat Tilly to that rotation and just come over early.
Yeah. As Beacon has spawned actually that we didn't really see. I think this will go pretty much uncontested, I would think, to the threats. Don't really have a lot of answers to be able to fight this after that fight and left. And yeah, they are just giving this to the threats first one, which is fine. You don't need to fight for those. They aren't as like impactful as people are thinking.
You think, my opinion, if you've got 3 beacons and like a primal, you're just going to be shredding, right? Isn't I would think that there's some value to contesting those beacons.
Yeah, there's definitely value. Those tower shred buffs aren't something to look over, but kind of like uh don't really want to like risk losing your life, because obviously losing like 2 or 3 people over a beacon fight that you don't know if you really can contest it all anyway could be way worse than just giving it up.
Yeah, and we see so often those weird fights around beacon just spiral into a gold and then
Yeah,
a
and
bigger gold
towers,
lead.
and
Yeah.
there's a lot of poke coming out to Stoinis as well. Oh, a lot of the poke. They're just holding down this pressure in this left side. Solo kind of getting unanswered. Corb has rotated over, probably looking to pick up a gold Fury while Corb is around.
Yeah, Jed's low on mana. We've got all 5 members of threats here. They should just be uncontested.
Yeah, I think Crimson Knights just aren't in position to contest this at all, nor do they probably want to. And that has taken up to about a 3.5k lead in the way of threats, and they might just walk straight over to the Pyromancer and do the same thing. Horus is up. They didn't
Yeah.
quite make it into the Pyro zone there, but they are just going to pull this.
Yeah, it shows that. I think maybe Knights have a little bit of hesitation into playing the map against the threats, but I don't think they could have got that pyro even if they were there first.
Which is a good point. A lot of teams do kind of just let threats get everything without really being out trying to contest them, which is the reason they normally get away to these leads and kind of have these clean thump games. They kind of just go uncontested throughout the early.
I like the idea. They're trying to get something back by just sieging that mid lane tower, but the setup with the poke from Tilly is just too much.
As we see, Baxton probably just gonna go back into fall into another farming couple minutes here as we look for something to fight over. Maybe a grouping for a siege, maybe on a tier 1 with both side lanes tier 1's down, it is a good time to look for a siege in mid, but I don't think it will go that way at the moment.
It's good to see Wade's keeping up as well. We saw how much pressure there was early, but he's a little bit behind in level, but he's got the 2 kills on the board. I think it's a good
Yeah, it's
showing.
helped them a lot. It's helped them a lot with those 2 kills. See about a
And
5k lead now coming out from the threats. Really
yeah,
rolling this lead, only a
jungle and
2-1 in
mid.
game 2.
There's 3 levels in jungle, 2 levels in mid. It's where you know that these players, Simply and Tilly, are very proficient farmers and they play the map very well. So it is easy to fall behind against people with so much experience.
Yeah, it seems they just know their rotations, know when they can and not rotate without losing farm. Tilly likes taking back camps, likes getting his farm done without trying not to rotate as much as possible.
And it looks like from the Erlang Shen, he's just not even going to be prioritizing any magic defense at all, which I don't really mind. It seems that the only real magic damage coming out from their team is going to be from a Cthulhu, who's going to be
Yeah,
predominantly
in that
tank as
backline.
well,
Yeah,
which is very nice for the Erlang.
and a very good pickup from probably a lot of times, or early at least. I can't remember what that item's called, the second item for Erling. Can't remember what that's called.
Phalanx.
Phalanx. A lot of times early you used to see the Phalanx get picked up just as kind of like a stat stick. But this is a very good actual Phalanx game. He's diving into 2 hunters, which will both get
Jet
kinda,
is body blocked.
yeah,
Oof.
body blocked into existence.
Still gets out. Ooh,
Still
Abspro.
does get out.
Descent into Madness might actually do quite a lot here. So Simply is already quite poked out.
The ult
Oh,
coming out, but he did ult over the wall straight into Corb as they find that pick.
Lath saw his name up in lights.
Tilly dishing out a lot of damage from that Baba Yaga ult as well, and Rama goes up. Will he find the shots?
Oh,
Oh,
he did find them.
didn't quite have the damage to take out Jet there. They do get mid tier 1. Beacon spawning.
Where are they
Oh,
going?
they're going straight to Gold Fury on spawn. Did get a little bit of a poke out of it. Took a little bit long. And Gold Fury still got a little bit longer. Tilly ulted into back. Actually not. And sticking to stay around and fight on this gold.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning at the start the Raven with the Bruiser build in jungle. I think I'd probably prefer to see him just go full damage. Like, I don't know. I feel like that type of Bruiser build may be a little bit wasted, even though it's quite strong at the moment.
It
Yeah.
might have been a better option for full damage this game, seeing as their kill potential on the Baba Yaga is a little bit rough, and with him having that bruiser, he doesn't really have any kill potential on a Baba Yaga. So full damage might have actually been the play of this game, or close to it anyway.
Yeah, I can't really see any world where a Raven with that build will do any, like, if I'm playing Baba Yaga and I see a Bruiser Raven trying to dive me, I don't have any stress.
Yeah, no, not really. Especially with old as well, you kind of just live. Has he got prophetic? He does have prophetic. Has stacked up Warlock, stacked up Karen's coin soon. He's going into a Soul Reaver as well. He'll be starting to be unkillable and dishing out a buttload of damage.
There you go. The Soul Reaver's already bought.
Oh, 4 items completed. As Chompy just got tier 2 oboe, then going straight into dominance, which is very fine. Tier 2 oboe just pretty much oboe, tiny bit weaker, but still does the job.
See a big commit onto Pyromancer here while Knights are just split pushing. I don't mind that. They're
Yeah, I
so
don't
far
either.
behind.
They don't really want to take fights, especially around those Pyromancer. Trying to take just taking a tier 1 off the board on the other side of the map's good option for them. As Abs a little bit out of position here, getting chased down by the Solar Jungle. Does force the ult as well.
Oh shit. It's not going to be as easy as Barman. He actually
Ooh.
remembered to use relics.
Oh,
Oh,
he saves it.
Chompy.
Wade missed a couple
Wait,
orders
Wade
there.
forgot to
Chompy's-
use his relics.
Wade missed a couple orders on the landing there, and Chompy hits those, and he steals away the 1v1.
Yeah, maybe it was just that Odibo diff.
Yeah, true. Odibo diff. Charge bow, I think it's called.
Yeah. I do like to see ADCs looking for a nice little brawl here and there. Often see too many solos happen in the solo lane. Not enough in duo. I feel like there's so much more hype when it's an ADC.
Yeah, it's a much more exciting fight at least. Solo fights like long and extended. Someone's probably inted in tower or something.
Yeah,
And you see it.
that happened to me against the Yorm. Oh,
Oh,
Ab's
and
taking a
Ab's is
lot of
getting
damage.
chunked out, and he's gonna fall here. Good Kepriel from Jed. It might be able to chase him down though. Simply hasn't given up the chase. He does go in the ult as well.
Nice dash away.
He's just falling back as they've already pulled out the Fire Giant, and they are ripping that down. And with all of this pressure in mid, then gonna get it for free.
Yeah, and it's great to see from the like position they're in so far ahead. They can force two separate fights while getting fire, which kind of
Yeah.
doesn't let Wade split push.
Kind of insane. This 8k lead on a 2-3 kill, like a 5 kill game. It's just absolute map play coming out from the threats, and they're just amassing a humongous lead as we see Tilly
Still have
falling
home
here.
sweet home.
It's a horror assault's coming out as well, tipping everybody in.
Oh,
This is a
so
huge
much
fight.
Baba damage.
Oh my god, but there's a lot of damage coming back out under the threats from the Marty.
Abspro might pick up Shank.
as well. Abspro doesn't find Shank, and that's deicide.
Damn.
Just gonna run down left lane. Might be able to get a Phoenix. Definitely will get a Phoenix out of this.
Yeah.
Potentially with his staggered death times a little bit, Jed coming up a little bit before, might even with a couple picks, might even be able to get game. I don't think so off this push necessarily, but they could. Never say never. Could happen.
We've got 3 level 20s from threats. Like, they're in a very good position to try. I don't really see the Kepri
Knight's
and the
not looking to
Raven.
yeah, Knight's
they're not
just
going
looking
for
to
it.
give it up, which is a smart plan. You're not really defending that, and if you fall, it will be game. So they're giving that up. I reckon it'll probably be a reset into pushing down the left as well, because they still have probably like at least 3 minutes on this Fire Giant. Still do a lot
Yeah.
with this. And
I don't
getting
see a
OD
way
Fury
back
as
in.
well.
I don't see a way back in for the Knights. Like, on this back, you're going to have 4 starters upgraded, almost full build from every member on the
Yeah.
threats.
Unless they kill this Baba Yaga, I think, and I can't see a way that they do. I think it could just be lights out already, the Crimson Knights.
See Corb here just having a field day with this Matasaurus, forcing ults.
Yeah, he really is. This guy's
We're just going to solo him.
Just
Oh,
two hunters trying to hit him.
maybe he's going a little bit too deep.
Low, slowly getting there. The autos coming out from Wade, just not doing damage. Oh, Wade. Oh,
He's got the
no.
Nikes on.
Oh no.
Oh,
Wade's got to hit those, and that's 2 kills with the Fire Giant. They're going to run down mid. They're going to get Phoenix. This could be game.
at least he used his relics that time.
At least he uses relics that time. Only 2 items, oh, 3 if you include the upgraded starter from Jed, but not a lot of items coming out. And Nuxel with no ult is just falling to this Kamazots.
I don't think this defense is going to be enough from the Knights.
No. This could be, if one more person falls, this will just be game. And there it is. Yep. I think that's gonna be game 1 for threats if they opt to do
We
it.
do have the Hachi coming up, so
True.
could be a bit risk.
They have respawned now. Tier 2 left. I go for this Phoenix as well. Gonna look to just get everything off the map.
And I think they have the sustain with their comp as well, with the Kama, with the Horus healing, and with the fire. They should just be able to
They're already
re-siege.
pretty much full health. See a good route coming out from Cthulhu, stopping them from being able to find Wade there. They're just gonna fall back again, get this beacon, and probably siege for the end with the Titan.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too much resistance from the Knights this game. There's been a little bit of pushback when some of the threats members get a little bit too big for their boots and try and go a little bit deep. We see the Kepri ults saving people perhaps when they might and they should die. But apart from that, it's been pretty much 100% threats this game.
Yeah, that's a lot of people just fall into that trap in the early game, and once threats get that like 4 or 5k lead in the early game just off objectives and map play, very hard to get back into this game against that team.
And I don't really see them just throwing from a position like this either.
Yeah, no, even if they do get a like decided even on a Titan Siege, they cannot end the game. The Knights, they will get at least another chance, and I don't think they do it twice in one game.
Yeah, I don't think the tanks from the Knights are really tanky enough to deal with the amount of damage coming out as well.
No. As the Titans are spawn and they're just gonna group mid, simply probably gonna push this right wave and walk in to the Titan, or walk around for this loop side, try and get these minions in the wave. What do the minions do if they get to the Titan and there's no Titan? They just stand there, or do they like get out and go to another lane?
Maybe they respawn. They like go back through the portal and just start again.
They spawn camp the other minions.
I do like the Marty on siege defense as well. You can get some really sneaky bush plays if you just have like the edge sticking out.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more bush play from the Matacoris that we see picked up in the OCLs games. There's a snipes coming out from Chompy doing a lot of damage.
I reckon they just might force the end
Yeah,
here.
Titans coming in as well.
And they
Having
still
a
have
look
the
at this in
Bubba
this
ult.
game, Abs Pro is getting chunked right now. Everyone's in the fountain. This Titan's is half health already. And they're gonna get this. This is game one. Going to the threats. Just outright clean. There's not much else to say. That was just clean gameplay. In every aspect, really. They didn't really fault in their game that game.
Yeah, I think it shows from a more experienced team and people who have an idea of how they want to play the game that they got their lead and they didn't look like they were going to take their foot off the pedal at any point. There probably was some um, resistance when they were trying to like end maybe around 22 minutes or something. They could have maybe ended, but I think it was a smart call to just reset and keep going.
Yeah. As we should. It's pre-recorded, so I don't know how long it'll actually take to get into the bans and stuff from the second game. Uh, but while we're here, uh, Pythags on the Cthulhu? Is that a thing? I actually don't know. I didn't see that.
It can be a thing. I mentioned it at the start of the game. It's like it's a good option for guardians just to help them with clear. Just getting the conduit and Pythags you could consider a bruiser item because it has health on it, and I believe the passive's still the same. So it's not a terrible item, but I feel like the solo lane role is just way more valuable with a full tank, like from the get go.
Yeah, as very stock standard from everyone else in this game. Outstanding game from the Baba Yaga, which, as much as it would be Tilly playing this pick like insanely well, he also just could not be punished by anything that the Knights had on that team. He kind of just got to do whatever he wanted that game, and just be unpunished the entire game.
Now I would like to see in the picks and bans in the next game the Baba Yaga taken off the board.
Yeah, or either look for like maybe like a AO, like AA kind of hunt assassins. Probably AO
Yeah,
Kali are really the only two that I can think of that have a alright time with the Baba Yaga.
but then
Uh,
she can just for the owl. He can't eat her in her home sweet homes, and he'll just get knocked back
here
and
we are. Here we
ruined.
are. Picks and bans for game number 2, the Threats Knights. Yeah, I would like to
Personally,
get.
sorry, I was going to say I'd like to see Knights go for second pick. I think there could be way more value trying to get a double pick. I think first pick has its benefits, but there's so much strong stuff at the moment that you can secure two really good gods.
Yeah, I am also a fan of the second pick, especially because we never get the choice apparently. But we love second pick. we love trading off just everything and just letting and having counters for the picks we know they're gonna take. First pick, most teams you kind of have a general idea what they're going for. First pick, they normally don't really waver.
It's pretty similar picks and bans, but it seems like Knights have said they don't want the Raven. They didn't think it did too much for them, and they ban it away. So that's a nice little switch up. They identify that maybe there wasn't enough value coming out of their jungle pick, and yeah, taking it off the board because I wouldn't
Yeah.
like to see any of the enemy team with that in their hands.
And the threats banned away the Barber, so Terra first pick coming out, which is always fine for a first pick. As we see, Rama Hubbard probably is going to get insta-locked again. Chompy loves getting forced on, or not forced, he'll keep playing it, but he loves his getting told to pick Rama every game, as most hunters probably do at the moment. Most ADCs probably is getting told to pick Rama Hachi. As we see Erlong Shen coming up as well, I would be fine with seeing that in solo lane again. Corb did show up on it.
Yeah, he seems to have a very solid performance, and I think the Knights really like the Terra pick. It gives Jed, who's like quite an influential member of their team, the opportunity to just decide when they're going to fight just by popping that ult. And I think it gives them a good element for their team.
Yeah, as we see the Disco coming up as well. Disco at the moment is actually, I think, quite strong.
Yes, I agree.
Deals out a lot of damage.
And
As
the passive kind of negates some of the power nerfs as well. So it's
yeah,
good.
also has a very good time clearing mid camps, as most mages find to be quite rough at the moment.
We see the emoji come through for the threats.
Oh, they
What do you
let it
think about
through.
that?
Oh, they let it through.
Third pick.
Yep, right it up. I'm surprised. I think it's criminal that the bans against threats, Yamoji is not number one. I think that's insane.
Should start handing out fines for
Yeah,
whenever emoji gets let through.
because as much as Shank probably won't play it an entire set unless he has to, uh, he will play it in a set. He will play it the first game as soon as it's let through. He will pick it. Might not pick it the next game, but as we see, Ischel. I don't know how to say that name. Ixchel.
Ishel.
Ishel. Ishel coming out. I do know Tilly loves this pick, and he does love this pick, especially when there's people he can ult through. And from what I've seen, he does very well on this squad.
Yeah, I think tonight is the first two games we've seen on the Ishel from King
Yeah,
Carter in the
coming out two
previous set
sets,
as well.
2 sets in a row. You see the Nemesis coming out as well. Nemesis does have a pretty good time, or I can see having a. Oh, actually, maybe it's not as good into Ishel. She does have two ways of getting rid of that shield on it. It does have a bit of anti-dive, but
Do you think we'll
also very good
see?
in the Rama as well.
Do you think we'll see Abs Pro 1v4 diving like he did the previous week on the Shiver?
I hope not. Definitely will get punished this game. As we see King Arthur getting picked, so the Erlong Shen's actually going into the jungle for Simply.
I've seen that come up here and there for Simply. I would believe it would be more of a tank bruiser Erlang jungle, just
Yeah,
relying
I
off
would
the
think so as well.
CC.
As this team does like to do, just pick these 5-man team fight comps and just kind of play that facilitated jungle and just kind of let their team fight prowess kind of shine.
And there's so much good team fight coming out from threats. The sustain alone from the Yamoja is plentiful, but then you add the Ishel healing on top of that, the interrupt from the Erlang and the King Arthur, while all the meanwhile you got the strongest ADC in the game just pumping from their back. So it's a nice
Yeah,
team comp.
it's a very good team comp. As we see both teams opting for triple camp. Both teams have a good triple camp pool. See if they can actually get in the stun there. They
Whose is
do.
better? We can watch.
Terra Cern should be better with
Yeah.
AoE autos. This is kind of nuts at the moment, but the lane pressure itself should eventually fall into Yamoja Rama as the level until level 3 Terra wave clear kind of falls off a little bit. This first wave, just with the speed of the camp clear, probably goes to the Knights, but I will expect that to change.
Do you think the CERN has fallen off, or do you think he's still just as strong and maybe people have just forgotten about him?
I think he's still just as good as he was. I think just Hachiman and Rama are just way safer at the moment. But him and Anher both will shine in like the double ADC comps with their proc thread as
Oh,
a
Wade
lot
getting
of damage.
frisky.
Oh, Chompy living on would be under 50 health, I would think.
Wade's
Very
salty
lucky
from
for
that
Chompy.
last game, from that last solo, so he wants to get one back.
Yeah. As you see, I don't know what Ishel early pressure is like. So I don't know how that 2v2 or even the 3v3 goes, but Erlong Shen and Yamoja, very good in the 3v3. And with Ischel, I think it'd probably go to them, as King Arthur's fallen a little bit low. The Shiva has been found out here. It's probably going to be first blood for Simply. It
Yeah,
is.
that's a nice gank. I think I left Abspro with kind of no option to go. Like if he went back towards the tower, maybe he might have been able to kill the King Arthur, but there's a good chance he could have died as well. So it was good for them to split instead of actually grouping.
As we see kind of nothing probably going to go down for a bit now. Simply looking for a gank here in mid. Soinus low on mana. I don't know if he has dashes. He does have enough for dashes. As that should be enough pressure for them to at least get right mids.
Now, I've played a few games on Ishel, and it seems that her root is actually really powerful. And I think the Erlang combined with the Ishel CC, like the knock up and the root, they should be catching people out on these mids. So there should be some good kill pressure around the mid 3v3.
Yeah, there's a good route coming out. Oh, and good stun as well. A little miscommunication. If Wade had a stuck around and dash, they might have been able to find a kill on Chompy there. Still had dash up. Probably could have just been able to dash back in the tower, but good pressure coming out from Jed. Crimson Knights do be looking to at least this game trying to compete against these threats guys in the early game at least. I like to see.
Yeah,
Not
not
as high of a
handing too
lead.
much over.
As high of a lead as what they had in the first game. Even
I
with the
think
first blood coming out.
think we see out of this Knights team as well when Lath is on a more of a comfortable pick that he feels like he can have more involvement with. You see a kind of an overall better performance from the team. I think they have strong like comms members on their team, and I think if you get some of them into a less favorable position where they feel like they can't do too much, their team definitely suffers.
Yeah. The team is a bit of a reliant on Jed and Stoinis comms. I feel like if they're not feeling themselves at the moment, or if they're feeling out of the game, could detriment their team a little bit.
I think I actually filled a scrim when they didn't have
Abs?
Lath,
Ah.
and I believe the comms were not what I thought they'd be. So I think that there's actually quite a big part on Lath's back there for the comms in that team.
Yeah, there definitely would be. Stoinis is a very talkative person, especially in comms, being on teams with him.
Maybe it was
As
because they let Flix play Bologna ADC, but that can be for another
that
day.
could also be a reason. It's a force. Wade doesn't get to try gods. Stick to your hunters, buddy.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to when he played on my team, but maybe that's why he left. Ooh,
That was a competitive advantage you wanted, being able to play it. Oh, it was a good
we might see a pickup
dash
here.
in by Stoinis here, but the anti-dive.
Oh,
Oh
so good.
no. Disco?
Oh,
Oh, imagine double kill from the disco
oh, Jed
Ricochet.
double kill.
Oh, Tilly.
Oh, the
Just, Tilly's already in the store. Wasn't even looking.
doesn't even look back. Jed's so confident that he's got that kill. The amount of times I've had my back stopped or I've died from those little disco stars. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
very
annoying, man.
annoying. They always hit me.
Can they proc items?
Should do.
Yeah, I think I have a memory of a soul gem proc on one of those little stars killing me once and me being very livid about it.
You see again, just low Doomed game. Actually, Crimson Knights having the lead at the moment. About a 300 gold lead. Raid threats. They're putting up a lot more pressure. It's probably coming from the duo side with Wade having this level lead. Probably where that gold's amassing. Simply does have a level lead over Stoinus as well. But I think this is coming from the duo side.
Yeah, there hasn't been any kills happening, so it seems that Wade's actually just farmed a little bit more proactively. I think CERN might have a little bit more pressure for the shield buff, just with the way that he works. And Jed does seem to be staying around.
You see a little bit of a scuffle over here. Stoinus has used his dash. If Simply can get the ult off. Oh, Corb going low as well. Not able to find the kill though. As Shank's coming over, this could get rough for Simply. Simply finding the first kill. And Abs is out of position. This is going to be a double kill for Simply. As Shank still yoinks that kill with a basic attack. But it is looking
Yeah,
a little bit rough in mid as well for Tilly. Goes up into the ult though, should be able to just walk away.
look at
Oh, a
that
lot of damage out
damage.
coming out from Nuxel though.
But the damage from Tilly there, he just got the full beam from his ult. I believe it's the great end, as it was
Yeah, we figured
highlighted,
out
and
last
just
game.
look how much health that the disco has left. Oh, the wraparound.
Oh, great
That's a
ult from Shank as well.
nice River's Rebuke.
Does pick it up and can't find the kill in Simply either. A bit rough for Crimson Knights. A lot of people have gotten out on very low health from the threats. It's a little bit unlucky a couple of times there.
Yeah, there is a great sustain in this threats draft coming from numerous members, so that might continue to happen.
As we see Wade getting yet another shield buff and should be able to catch this wave as Chompy's getting run at. Just freely dash in the tower, walks away. Probably not a known water, but he does looks like he has that sentry water. I don't know if he's put that there or Shank's put that there, but he has got his wards up.
Is Chompy one of those players that will end a
Ah,
35-minute scrim and then you just go to the post-game cards and there'll be 0 wards?
yeah, 100%. Which I was also a victim to in ADC. I feel like you don't really need them. Or if
Until
I
you
was buying
die.
them, yeah, I was. Even if I was buying them, I wasn't getting sentries. That's for sure.
I
Wasn't
think
needing my one little ward.
I got yelled at enough times about me not warding that I think I find myself warding sometimes more than I should.
Yeah, sometimes it can look little bit rough. You can kind of get away without not warding, depending on where you can tell the other team wants to put their pressure in, or how safe you are. Really, Rama probably need a little bit more wards as the ult
Shank's
comes out,
very
trying
high
to
up here.
find Shank here. Shank should be dead. This kill, very good Cernol coming out as well. Does fall in the way of Stoinus.
It's good collapse, but I think
Yeah,
Shank's just a bit out of position there.
yeah. Which Shank will always go for that purple buff, and he does not get punished enough for it. So I like to see. You love to see Shank getting punished for things. There's a lot
Yeah,
of people don't. A lot of people just forget about him.
we've
Let
seen
him do what he
quite a
wants.
lot of prio from
Oh, very
Knights.
good stun coming out from Corb.
I think he can break dance away. Yeah.
Yeah, should be able to just heal himself up.
As I was saying though, it's good to see that the Knights are prioritizing this duo lane. It seems to be left usually unchecked when playing against the threats and so much pressure from Shank. It's good to see an answer back.
Yeah, as they dive in Chompy in the tower. Wade just looking to take this tier 1, which I like. Didn't need to overcommit, try and fight into that tower. It's fine, they got the win there. Tilly did pick up Nuxel, however, in the mid lane. And they picked up a tier 1 in right as well. So maybe actually a better swing in the way of threats.
Yeah, it looks like Shank might have caught him out with the ult there.
Look at the pressure down as tier 1 as well. In mid, trying to get a little bit of damage on it at least. As Sonos is here, they are going to get this tier 1.
Yeah, we were questioning before how good the Ishel is early, and it seems good
Yeah,
enough.
very good. Yeah, seems very strong. Also probably has a lot of gold in the pocket at the moment as well. Only having that tier 2 and do more divine his back probably be quite large.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe an earlier divine for the disco. She can proc it so well and into so much sustain from the threats. It would be a shame to see it missed.
As we probably, I wouldn't, I would think that the threats would probably start looking towards this Gold Fury now. They've amassed a little bit of like a 1k lead there. Beacon spawning in a minute as well. I'll be looking to fight at one of those things, trying to get a roll on here, trying to get this gold lead to be more to where they want it to be.
Yeah, I think in saying that, the Knights team comp kind of lacks a little bit of an identity when it comes to this all-in team fight. Like you can see the disco following pretty well off the Terra ult, but outside of that, I think it's going to be a little bit rough.
Oh, very good Riptide from Shank. Good stuns as well. God does not miss on that god. There's a Blink stun coming out and the Taunt as well. And this Ischel ult is going to go on forever, ulting through simply here. Finds the picks and Chompy's here looking for the smoke. Oh,
Oh,
wait, the
damn.
auto cancels. Does find the burst damage for it. But Simply and Corb might just be able to run down everybody else on this team now. Sentinel's coming in from behind onto the Ischel. Does find
Should fall.
damage. Oh, Simply should be able to pick this kill up though.
Yeah, Simply already
He
has the
does.
phalanx
And the
online. He can
TP
tank
coming
that
into the mid
tower.
tower as well.
Bit
Asbro
too
coming
late.
in.
I think at this point he's better off just proxying solo. The
He's got
fight's kind of
beads.
over.
The beads, but they will just fall back, go to gold, or go to beacon first and then get gold while once Chompy is rotated back in.
Did Abs ult there when he came in just then? Because it
I don't
seems like he
think
must
so.
have, because his ult's on cooldown.
Yeah, I don't know when he ulted.
Could have been nice to see that for the beacon contest.
I think Shiva kind of lacks that. Especially in those team fights around there, that ult could kind of be not worth using sometimes when you could just be disrupting with all of your 10 million knockups.
Yeah, I like the Shiva with the Soul Eater spikes proc build. Like he feels like that disrupt that he has so much more value because you're actually sustaining yourself and doing big damage with the spikes procs at the same time.
The spikes sustain you?
Oh no, I'm saying if you have Soul Eater as well, like you can
Soul
do
Eater,
tons of
yeah.
damage and
Dish out a lot of damage.
yeah. We see the Phalanx come out, which is not a bad stat stick for the solo lane, but on the Shiva into King Arthur, I don't really know how much value that's going to have.
Yeah, he's kind of looking like he's just picking that up either for the stat stick or he's opting to want to be going in on Chompy in these fights. As the ult from Disco comes out and Chompy looking like he's getting into a little bit of scuffle there, but they will just fall back onto the gold. I don't know if Knights can. I reckon they could stick up a little bit of a fight here. Don't think they will though, as people are messing around with Corb in the mid lane instead of rotating to this Gold Fury. It might just be free pickings for threats to pick up another gold.
Yeah, I think the threats might even be looking for a fight here, seeing how deep their vision is in the Knight's jungle.
Yeah, they are, and Corb, they're looking for the Pyromancer, and it looks like it's just Corb defending it, and he does fall. And they do pick up the Pyromancer from it, which is a good trade, I would say, for the Knights.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened with the King Arthur there, but I, as a solo laner, know that sometimes you think you're having the most impact on the map just by distracting people, but then you actually realize that you're going to die instead.
Oh my god, that ult goes forever.
The mobile Anubis ult that heals your team.
That's what, from what I've seen anyway, it really separates how Tilly plays this god and how like King Carter was playing the god, is that Tilly doesn't use his ult unless it's going through someone that he can just stand in front of. And he gets as much value as you can possibly get from these Ischel ults, and it, as well as it does this whole lot of damage, the person he's going through does not die. Wade kind of taking.
Wade wants to smoke.
Yeah, he's kind of winning this 2v1 right now.
God damn.
Kind of done well there.
That was a sick
very
play.
well there.
He just understood that he has his Exi online. He can actually stand up to that Yamoja, even though she's got the Sov and somewhat of a prophetic. He still melted her.
It looks like they want to go for this tier 2 tower as well, which I don't know if is the right play. They do have just Tilly and Simply on his way as well. They might be able to have the damage for this. And there's the bomb. That's what they've gone in here for.
Well,
Simply
Simply
does
has a
go in
nice
and blink in.
engage.
Gets a lot of ults for it though. And Tilly's getting a lot of damage though. That's
Oh,
a
I think they
great
might be.
taunt though. Abstro has gone in looking for Tilly.
It's very deep there. I think that's a bit of a throw, seeing that all these members from the threats are coming back up and right there, but they're still diving.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to run us down. They're probably going to be able to take tier 2 themselves from this play here. That's going to run down left lane.
We see this build from Simply seems so hard to lock down with that wing blade and the defense. Seems like it's proving quite an issue for the backline of Knights, because I think we've seen almost every fight so far the Erlang just blink on the disco, and it's really hard for her to get involved.
Yeah, and even with that tanky opt for build, still is 4-0-6, which is astounding, and Simply is really paying off in this fight.
The Erlang can feel almost unstoppable from ahead sometimes with that.
Yeah,
I don't know what the name of his first ability is, but when that's leveled up to fit to 5 and you've got follow up from your team, pretty much anyone will just melt.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Spot Weakness, I think.
Oh,
For some
yes.
reason.
Never been the biggest fan of Erlang, but I think he's quite strong. Just not my playstyle.
Yeah, I kind of got sick of him when he was the top jungler for like an entire year or like a year and a half. Love to see him fall down, but he's coming back, and I don't think I like it.
It's kind of good to see though that they may have actually done something good with the balance for him, because I feel like he's like one of
Yeah,
those gods such as Freya where it's so touchy to balance, where if you buff the only thing that can be buffed, um, he just goes out of control. But this time he seems strong, but he's not like
yeah,
completely out of
insane.
control.
Yeah, I think that might be on the back of the item changes as well. Instead of directly nerfing him, they've kind of nerfed some items that are good for him with like the mannequins. Mannequins is pretty much pretty bad at the moment, and his item pathing's a little bit rough, so he's kind of finds the value more in these tankier builds where he doesn't really get to doesn't get to just hard win games. He kind of just has to play that facilitator more than killing everybody.
Is he catching out the disco again?
Oh, and a big emoji roll. Only catching Jed though. As if Corb has picked up Stoinus in the back with the Arthur ult, but he's getting kind of gone on. But oh my goodness, he is Shell ult.
It's insane.
This is coming out. It's just doing so much damage. And again, Tilly's kind of been allowed to do what he wants in these fights. Kind of just can't get gone on.
Jed's looking for a good engage here, but Peter's out.
Yeah, just didn't have the follow up around him. Hasn't really had the damage to deal to these tanky support and solo from threats. Don't really take a lot of damage as Compian simply got gold in the meantime, and they've looked to pick up Pyro, but threats won't let this go.
Yeah, I think this is a risky pickup.
Yeah, simply coming back as well. This could be rough.
Oh,
Fight.
three
That was
man.
a huge stun from Corb. It's a lot out of it as well. This will just, if they don't find any picks up from this, certainly start coming out as well. This will just be a free Pyro. As we see about us after this, it'll probably be a 7k gold lead.
Although there has
well.
been more opposition from the Knights this game.
Yeah, I have liked it better this game, that they've stuck up to threats a little bit more than they did the first game. But still, just threats map play is incredibly strong, and their team synergy is just insane.
Yeah, and we saw after that 2v1 in duo where we thought Wade was on top of the world, Chompy went a little bit quiet, but now we look over and he's just been farming the entire time on his
Yeah,
way to the right side of the map. Yeah,
love to
nice.
see
Yeah.
Flicks going for the rotation, and Chompy knowing that his team will be just fine without him, so he just sits and farms up and is now up that level lead, as we see identical builds coming out from both hunters.
Yeah, I wonder whose build that is.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Seeing
Shank
good
might get caught out
aggression
here
going in on
again.
Shank here with the disco ult as well. Shank could fall. Good Riptide though, saving himself there.
The
But
heals.
oh, he won't be able to get away.
Tilly's saving Shank's life there.
Yeah, supporting the support. As they are
This is a
looking like
good
they're trying
counter
to go in on
engage.
threats, but Chompy has come in and is dealing out damage. Now, and Corb in the backline is ripping through them. Kind of soloing Flicks here. Stoinis has come back though. Oh,
Oh,
just
unlucky.
can't find Flicks. And simply though, oh,
Was
what even
that
killed him there?
a bluestone proc? I don't
That
think so.
Bluestone proc went on for ages if it was. What was that?
I don't know. Or maybe it was
Whoever.
contagion.
Oh, true. It might have been Contagion procs.
We talk about the sustain between the Ishel and the Umoja, but the mobility is actually insane as well. If you're traveling around the map with the Ishel speed boost and the Riptides, you're going to be zooming. And that's team
Yeah.
wide as well.
Yeah, it is quite insane for both of them. As they're looking to get this mid tier 2, maybe even a Phoenix. No, they won't. They will back up. Probably look to reset, water around Fire Giant, look for this Fire Giant pool.
If you're on the Knights, what do you think they need to kind of change the sway of this game? Because you see simply just saying, okay, I'm choosing that this Discordia is not going to be able to play the game. Do you think that the Shiva just needs to match this Erlang Shen pressure, or do you reckon there's another avenue back into it?
I think they kind of gotta play this like backliney comp, and what they were doing, or nearly found on Shank there, is probably the right call. Like looking for Corb simply Shank in these frontline game. They do have the burn for them, and once Flix does get this kin size online, should be able to deal out a lot of damage and actually be able to find, hopefully, a pick on these frontliners. But I think they should play front to back. I think the dive that Stoinis and Abs can dish out right now is just not enough to be able to deal to be able to find picks in that back line, especially with Chompy being so far ahead, Tilly being so far ahead as well. I think they really got to look for like small support picks, frontline picks.
Yeah, they can flip a fight so easy with the Terra ult, Shiva ult. If they collapse on someone out of position, I think even if the threats do back them up, that combination should be enough.
You see, Chompy simply probably got seen going to Golshuri, and Knights went for a cheeky fire giant pull, but it was quickly found out by the threats, and simply Chompy come running.
Well, I like that they're asking the question. They go, what's going to happen if we pull this? And obviously, they instantly hop off Oni and head straight to fire. But it's good to see that there's some proactiveness from the Knights.
Yeah, as Pyro looking like he's going to get tripped down, maybe go for a cheeky steal, but they didn't find it. And Stoinis actually finding
Ooh.
Corb. They're finding Corb
He
in the
should
solo
die
lane.
here.
It's like what I was talking about. They're finding this, looking to try and find this pick at least on the solo side. Again, just getting out on no health.
Jed saved the day.
Oh, they're going in.
The Terra
Gonna
ult
work.
for 10
Finally found
HP.
it.
Oh, meanwhile,
A little
simply
rough
split
here.
pushing middle Phoenix.
Yeah,
Oh, they see the TP come
Astro's
out.
TP, but this is
He can't stop that.
this will be a 4v 3v4. Could be a good fight. Oh,
Oh,
huge emo drop, but the
good
Phantom Shell
shell.
comes through. As it is Shallow coming through as well, just damage. The Riptide, and as you
Oh,
said,
that's a rough pick.
simply finding the pick on Abstro in the middle as well.
This could
They're just gonna
potentially be
run down
very
this
bad.
could potentially be game.
Yeah, we see simply catch
Oh,
out.
and
Oh,
simply double
huge
taunt as
taunt.
well.
Those
This could be
relics,
game.
very well
Go
played.
for it.
I like the look for the pick there on that King Arthur, but it seems like they just overcommitted themselves slightly and
Yeah, which is a bit
expending the
unlucky.
Terra ult so quickly.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky for them. If they had have found that earlier, that fight could have gone a lot different, and they would have been in a good spot to be able to contest Fire Giant, or at least prolong to get some farm up.
I was
Again,
going to
they're
say,
saving on a little health.
I didn't think that Abs Pro looked like he was in a position to die there, but it seems like he has DC'd, so maybe simply just took no pity. and executed him.
Yeah, might have just, yeah, just completely, or maybe not have known that he had DC'd, but you never know.
Well,
Make the
in a
argument
competitive
either
game like this, as a competitive player, there is like a moral question there. But if you're trying to get the win, I don't think there's any issue with just killing someone if they haven't
Yeah,
actually left the game yet.
not breaking any rules.
Now, there's only one Phoenix remaining for the Knights, but I think that will be very swiftly taken care of, as well as the Oni Fury. So the pressure from threats coming
Yeah,
out at the
with
moment
these
is going to be
Titans
very
coming down that
high.
lane as well, they'll look to push this Fire Giant and try and make it to the left side. Sorry, with this Titan, hopefully with the Fire Giant.
I think it's a pretty rough situation here if you're on the Knights, but I think maybe just like maybe an all-in coin flip on the fire could possibly be an option.
Yeah,
Seems like
it
they're
might
looking
have
to
to be the
contest.
only option at the moment, because if they get this Fire Giant and walk down the Titan side, it could just be coffins for the Knights boys this game.
Seems like a split decision though, because we see Knights grouping to contest this fire giant, but all the meanwhile, Flix has just said, "Screw that! I'm
Yeah,
split pushing this Titan." So
which means they will be picking up this Fire Giant. Oh, and a good ult coming out from Stoinis again. Disco ult coming out as well. They can find the kill, it'll be big, but the Ishchel ult comes out.
mm.
And the damage,
Oh my god!
insane.
Don't worry, guys.
This
Wade's got
Ishchel is
that left lane pushed up.
this Ishchel is just running through this team. They find Abs Pro as well. They will just fall back to Fire Giant, get this, and possibly look for an end.
Well, they can't because the Titan's not there.
True. So Wade's looking to try and get this Phoenix with the Titan.
He ends himself. But
Yeah,
that's
all
the
goes
pressure
bad.
that we were talking about that we wanted to see out of the Knights trying to get those frontline picks, but the Ishel ult and the sustain from the Yamoja, they just don't have the damage for
Yeah,
the.
and without Flicks there, which is really their pick potential on those front lines, it just was a bit rough there. Still nearly did it though.
I think now that they've got that fire giant, they're going to look straight to this Oni and then just probably shove in, look for the end. Mid's respawning, but there's so much pressure from the threats at the moment.
And they're just gonna get this Oni Fury as well, just get everything aligned for them to look for the end on this one push. As Simply does a lot with these sieges where there's only one thing up, I reckon he'll probably either push through mid or push through right. Probably mid with the Phoenix coming back up. And look to just pressure in this Titan, and which will allow either he ends the game or someone goes back to him and they can get Phoenix for free. Or he rotates through into the Phoenix fight and finds the big blink ult.
Yeah, and if you're on the Knights, it's kind of hard to match the Erlang Shen. He's full build, got a good amount of damage, and is probably going to be substantially tankier, maybe just as tanky as Abs Pro. So who can they really send to match the Erlang?
Oh, a good Terror ult coming out. They do find Tilly. A big Yamoja ult coming out as well. Everyone is in that Riptide. That's not what it's called. It's a 3.
River's Rebuke.
River's Rebuke, that's what it is.
I like the initiative there to just like start the team fight before they even have the chance to
Look,
siege.
Simply as well, they got Simply low. Stoinis is going for it.
But Abs Pro cannot match the Ram and the.
Oh, Chompy hits the snipes. Good dash in route by Jed.
I see the King Arthur wrapping around the back though.
Yeah, and Corb is kind of doing whatever he wants in his backline right now. That's a lot of damage.
That was a great pick onto the Ishel though.
Yeah, it was a very good pick from the Knights. Might even be able to go dividends for this not being an end.
Corb is
Corb
ruining.
is just killing everyone. Oh, again, Corb is just ripping through. Unanswered in this backline, and this is probably game. Once they find up this Ads Pro, or Chompy just sits back and hits the Titan, this could just be game.
Abs Pro is wasting a good amount of time though, but at the same time he
Might
can't
be
back
sword.
and help.
Oh.
No astral arrows in the quiver. Oh, good Riptide.
Oh, Chompy wasn't ready for the Riptide.
This is a bit awkward for the threats. I imagine they probably thought they could just walk down that left lane and end, but very nice defense there from Knights. And Stoinis might be looking for more.
Yeah, just doesn't find it. Again, this is I think just with a full grouping, they and your Mojo ult and Rama autos, they could end kind of whenever they want,
Oh,
especially if they
Abspro
find this
called
pick in
out.
abs as well. Oh,
That's
damage.
some damage. There is
Yeah,
only the one dedicated magical defense item from the Abs Pro, but he still gets just melted by the procs and the percent pen from Tilly.
yeah, and I think threats would just be looking to walk in. Rivers rebuke this Titan and look for the end. That's it. They go for the Rivers rebuke on the Cernanos, and it's going to be a Jed
Ooh.
falling as well potentially.
And Wade
The
used his
Jed
dash
coming up.
towards Simply, so that's coffins.
Oh, yeah, that's game. Game and the set going to the threats. A very clean 2-0. Just complete map play and team dominance from these boys. And they take it and secure themselves second place on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think that the Knights had a way better showing in the second game, though. The first game was a little bit rough. It seems like they maybe kind of baited themselves with some of the picks, but the draft I thought was not too strong in the second game, but they seem to do what they want to be able to do with those. So
Yeah,
yeah, very well played by the threats, but I think that there was some hope, like show signs of hope there in the second game from Knights.
11-0-12 coming out from Simply.
God
Just
damn.
absolutely just could not be answered in that game. And if I was to give an MVP, see, on paper, I think I'd give it to Tilly, but I'm gonna put that down to people just not being able to not going on him. So I'm gonna not give it to Tilly because that doesn't count. So I think I'm gonna give it to Simply. It's either Simply or Tilly.
Yeah, Simply played very well in those both those games. I see what you're saying about people not going on Tilly, but at the same time, I think that's like a just good positioning from him, and I think he had a very solid performance in both games. So personally, I'd give it to him.
Yeah. So that will just about conclude after this MVP vote goes through and the votes come in. That will pretty much conclude our thing. If we could potentially get it over to schedule
Hmm.
I believe we will be attempting to get a stream out tomorrow
I know that will
to
definitely
watch
happen.
the La Bomba vs Crusaders game,
Oh, that's
which
going to be a hype match.
yeah, and a very must-win game for both of them because a loss here pretty much ends their season of, or at least ends their season of their chances of getting into the finals, and winning this game gives them a very slight chance of making it into the finals.
Yeah, I do believe that Crusaders have made a few roster changes, so I'm actually very keen to see that set.
Yeah, I'm also very keen to see the set. And this MVP has been a three-way split for one vote each on Simply Tilly and Chompy. Which,
Great
if
work.
I would, if I might guess, it might be Simply Tilly and Chompy, or
It's got to end up
a
some way.
mix of them voting for each other.
Now,
But
can we look at the games for the next week as well? Because there should be some good matchups.
yeah, next week the biggest game I think is Jack Martin's, especially if Crusaders take the dub. Depending on how this Crusaders La Bomba game goes, if Crusaders take the dub, that week 6 match against Jack Martins will be the biggest deciding game on who makes that 6th place.
Yeah,
Especially if Jack Martins the following week then lose to Crimson Knights, Crusaders do sneak their way into the top 6 with the head-to-head. Married Men and Crimson Knights, both still very big game, battling it out for the middle of the table placements.
and we've
Uh,
seen BGF have awesome form lately, so you never know. They could really bring it to Pi.
yeah, they would be tied for third, I believe, at the moment. After that game, it'd be Crimson Knights BGF tied for third, taking on the undefeated Wonderful Day for Pi boys, and the final game of that set being that week, sorry, being La Bomba and Threats, which could just be a good showing from that week, just to La Bomba try and find their footing. Maybe getting ready for the following week of BGF if they win against the Crusaders. But will be a
Yeah,
rough game going into them facing that team we just faced. We just seen Threats being such a strong team, but could be a good showing from the boys.
definitely some very good matches coming up next week. I think my match against the Knights should be a good one. I'm not going to fear
Yeah,
in it, but I think there's good chance that good chance for either team to come out on top. So yeah, I'm excited to see how everything pans
yeah,
out.
very very good week next week for the games. But that will all about conclude our stream for tonight. Thank you for watching. We will be announcing a time at some point for the stream tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Farewell.